Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, make sure you go check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. As I said, free to join. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share ideas there, so do other traders. Join the community, and of course, you can find out a little bit more about Elevating Traders as well if you're interested. So if you want to check it out, make sure you go do so. Link to that at the top of the chat and in the description below. But welcome back, guys. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Sony Gold, what's up? Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you're well. Will, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Using the wrong mic. Okay, that's a great start there. Yes, we are using the wrong mic. Okay, let me know if that's better. If that's sounding better. Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Got the GS Day news up to 255 inventory. Did go down 60 move. Okay, nice. Which basically doubled my profit target 20%. Oh, okay, looking very, very big there. Yeah, you were talking about getting back in, weren't you, in the New York session? And we did see some more downside for yen. I mean, it hasn't gone too far, but of course, in the 5-minute, you can find those 60 pips pretty easily. Pound yen is stat those pips. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. Okay, it's doing good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. I always set the mic, but sometimes it switches at the start of the stream. I have no idea why it does that. I need to check that more often. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. But as always, guys, we'll go through USD markets. First, take a look at the dollar, see what's happening with USD pairs, gold and silver. And then, of course, we'll go through some indices, other related markets as well. If you have any requests, any certain pairs you're looking at, drop it in the chat. Of course, if there's a certain time frame you want me to look at as well, let me know and I will be happy to. But since we last spoke, yeah, dollar hasn't done too much, to be honest. We had a little bit of news yesterday. Price kind of up and down, but overall we're still very much in the same place. So no real kind of major update on the USD price action or DXY price action. The buy still remains the same. If I go to the weekly chart, again, this is always my point of reference in terms of where I'm expecting dollar to end up. We've broken through major resistance at the end of last year, and the next big target for the dollar is the high here at 113/114. So that's still where I'm expecting price to get to. So any meaningful downside I see for the dollar, unless of course it does break back underneath this support level, then I'll reanalyze, and at that point it'll probably be a big fake out. But as long as we stay above this level here at 107, any move to the downside, I'm anticipating that just be a pullback for price to keep pushing to the upside. So very, very bullish on the dollar. I've spoken about a retest of the high over here, which would be a nice place for a pullback. Again, if I whip out the fib from the last low to the most recent high, does have some nice 50 confluence there with the fib. So I would like to see a bit more downside for the dollar, just purely out retracements, getting a bit corrected now. So I can see signs that the dollar is starting to run out a bit of steam and maybe a pullback is necessary for us to, continue on this bullish path. So yeah, I do want to see a bit of a pullback around the 108 region is where I'm interested in. And then of course, expecting more upside, push back to highs, so on and so forth. So very bullish on the dollar. Of course, euro, pretty much the exact opposite, but similar in euro's case as well. We are becoming very corrective now. So although, yes, structure is still bearish, we're still printing lower highs and lower lows, which is great to see. However, we need to pick up the pace. We need to see more impulse momentum and a more meaningful trend like we got in 2022, where price was collapsing. You can see really healthy pullbacks, really nice lower lows and lower highs. Of course, eventually did run out of steam and had that bigger push to the upside, as every chart would do. But you can see we're very kind of corrective right now. So I do think euro can have a slightly deeper pullback, hence why I expect dollar to do the same as well. And the area which I'm looking for euro to push into is up here around the 1.048 region. It would be very nice to get a pullback back into there. We potentially go even deeper than that, but this is a nice area of confluence. We've got the 0.618 in that area, and also prior level support, which of course will be turn resistance. If we can see some strong rejection signals in that area, we'll be looking to short to see if we can take it back into the low, and of course maybe some new lows as well. But still very bullish on euro as long as euro USD stays below. Jump to the daily chart. As long as euro USD stays below this level at, I believe, 1.05. Yeah, just around there, 1.045. As long as we stay below that low, that is what's keeping me bearish for euro. Break back above that, I'll be looking at buys, pullbacks, continuations, maybe a break and retest of that low, and some meaningful upside. So as soon as we break above that, bullish. But for now, since we haven't done that yet, I remain bearish. So that's kind of what I'm looking at now for euro USD. In terms of pound USD, still waiting for a pullback for this guy. It's just been very, very bearish, to be honest. We have seen some type of correction the past few days, but nothing crazy, nothing significant. So staying patient on the sidelines here for pound. I know what I'm looking to do, keep shorting. We've seen some really nice lower lows and lower highs. You can see the high over there. Next lower high, next lower high, next lower high. So the goal is to look for the next one after that. I'm drawing my fib from this high to the low, since this is the high that gave us the new low. So this is the pullback I want to see. The impulse and then the pullback I want to see of that impulse. And that lines up pretty well with this level here, just in between the 0.5 and 0.618. So it would be really great to see pound USD get up there, retest that next lower high, and see another drop. We've broken through that large counter trend line. So that tells me, okay, more downside is to be expected. And the next big low we have for pound USD is this level of support here, around 1.206. So I expect us to go and at least hit that level, but most likely break through and eventually go and hit the next level, which is this area here at 1.18. Of course, if USD maintains that strength all the way to 113, 114, you're going to see pound USD keep falling. So it's pretty sensible target to expect if USD is going to stay strong. So expecting a lot more downside longer term, but want to see a pullback. This is still my number one area. This level of support once, twice, looking for it to now act as resistance. However, I also do like the low here as well. And I've got a feeling price might get to this area, react and sell off. Especially if you're in the intraday time frame, I would keep a close eye at 1.235. That price swing low. Haven't really had a retest of it yet. Price gets there, we may sell off. We might not have this slightly deeper pullback I'm looking for into the 1.25 area. So either level looks good, because if I draw the fib from this bearish leg here, from that high to the low, you can see a similar situation in between that 0.5 and 0.618. So still a relatively healthy pullback for that bearish leg. It's just I'm always looking for the deeper corrections, because I know they can go a lot further should they play out. But yeah, that's my my view for pound USD. In terms of dollar CAD, more consolidation. Looks like we had another fake to the downside. So this is the range I'm looking at. Equal lows down there, equal highs over there. And in fact, we kind of faked out twice into the same area. So there's fake out number one, fake out number two, back above support, looking for us to push back into resistance now. I mean, you could actually just draw the low, the range here now, since that's where price is kind of focused on. But since this is the original level of support, that's kind of where I would say, to look at your buys. If price was to come back and retest, I still think that's a great place for a long. But overall, market is moving sideways. So really nothing to do with dollar CAD in this area for me until we kind of break out of that mess. As I've been saying for a while, I'm still looking for the bigger pullback into this area here. That is really where I got my confluence. 0.618 still lines up pretty well with that high, with that level there. So a retest of that level, finding the next high low looks good. But as time continues and we keep moving sideways, I'm less expecting that push and a retest of that high to happen. And I think the more realistic and probable trade will probably be the break and retest of the highs. Because at the moment, there's a lot of momentum in the market. And right now, we're just flat. We're just equal. So the buyers and sellers are kind of equal to each other. And if USD sees that strength again, we could probably expect to see a pretty sharp breakout and a continuation of that momentum, which led to the range. So we could see a really nice breakout. And of course, you're looking for your retest and continuations of that. And in terms of where I'm expecting dollar CAD to get to, we do have massive weekly resistance back over here around 1.465. So as you can see, massive rejections over there, and we're not too far away from that same resistance. So I just expect dollar CAD to keep pushing until we get there. Then, we'll judge what happens when we get there. Maybe we reverse, maybe we break through. We'll judge that closer to the level. As for Aussie dollar, still looking for a bit of a retracement for this one. It's still extremely bearish. We've been falling to the downside for quite a while, but we've taken out some major lows. So I do expect price to have a bit of a pullback at some point. Of course, the market is still bearish and it could keep falling. If USD stays strong, then of course Aussie dollar is most likely going to keep falling. But I do expect to pull back at some point. And now that we've taken out these lows, we've taken out these lows as well, and we've taken out these lows as well. We've taken out a lot of big lows on the higher time frames, daily, weekly chart. Market is due a bit of a breather, and now is a great time for it since we are becoming quite corrective as well. So we had a lot of momentum past 2 weeks, but since then we've been very corrective on our way down, which again, not a sign of a very healthy trending market. So for Aussie dollar, I do expect to see something like this in the next coming days. Again, the bigger move I do expect still to be to the downside. Still looking at the COVID lows down there. But I am looking at pullback first, at least back to retest some of these areas. Really nice daily support will be flipped as resistance. That looks like a great place for a short. Should I see my confirmations in that area, I'm looking for us to come right back down and continue that trend, but not really interested in shorting New Zealand dollar at current price, because we've taken out those big lows there as well. In terms of New Zealand dollar, it's a similar situation. We've taken out some major lows on the daily chart as well. We haven't quite taken out the low just underneath us, which is this one here. So maybe price wants to go do that first before we get a pullback. That could be the possibility. But again, I still want to see price at least retrace, come back and at least retest that area before I do start to short again. But again, looking at price, very, very tired, very, very corrective, a sign of a market getting ready for a bigger pullback at some point. So yeah, looking for something like that over the next few days for New Zealand dollar, just so I can short it again, really. But yeah, not really interested in taking any sells at those prices, since we're coming right into some major lows on the left. And I know a lot of buyers will be looking at this area trying to take positions, and of course a lot of sellers on the higher time frames. Anyone kind of holding any longer term swing trades from these highs back here, that would be a target they would look at least banking some of their positions, if not closing everything. So I do expect to see at least a bounce at some point and then some more follow through. In terms of gold and silver, so gold, yeah, really nice move to the upside yesterday, back into resistance. The plan for gold is I'm still expecting a push back to the all-time highs, which is all the way up there, 27.90. However, I do need to see price break resistance first. The original plan for gold was looking for the retest of these lows for some longs. Never happened. It looked like it was at some point, but no, the market held on to support pretty well back here, and actually had a pretty nice move to the upside. So now the plan is waiting for the break of the high, pullbacks above that. Simple patterns here, and then we're looking to take it back to the high and hopefully further as well. At the moment, we are still ranging. We're still technically in the range. Those are equal highs, equal lows. So albeit the market could very much sell off from here back down again, I'm not necessarily interested in that move. So yeah, I'm waiting for the breakout. I'm waiting for momentum on the higher time frame to kick back in again. You can see how bullish we're looking in the weekly chart. My plan is to kind of look to trade that trend, look to trade that momentum. And the best way to do that, I can see at the moment in time, is waiting for the highs to break and pullbacks afterwards. And then we can look to target the all-time highs and hopefully further as well. In terms of silver, similar situation. We're starting to see signs of higher highs and higher lows, although we are selling off pretty hard at the moment. I like the fact we did take up the highs there, but I was hoping for a much bigger push before I can then look for corrections for another high low. Because as I've been saying, lovely double bottom back here. Initial test, second test, went and broke structure very well to the upside. Great to see. Then we formed a higher high, higher low, and again another higher high. So we're starting to form some bullish structure, which is great. And that's what I'm looking for to take trades. But at the moment in time, we've only just about broke the highs. We're looking like we're about to break back underneath them. I'm still looking for a longer term move back to the highs here for silver. In my view, this looks like just a correction of that move. So I'm expecting us to push on. But at this moment in time, I need to see a more healthy break of structure than that. I know we've taken up the highs, so we could pull back high low. But for the retest of this zone, I need price to have a much bigger pullback. I potentially might consider the retest of the high here if things look good, but I wouldn't be as confident looking to try and take that trade back to the highs all the way up there. Maybe a push back to where we came from, but then I have to be careful price doesn't roll back over. But all in all, pretty bullish on silver. So keep an eye on 29.92. As I said, the breakout isn't big enough to consider the retest of this level yet. So I need price to push on, but still bullish, still looking to try and find next high low, and we'll go from there. And that's kind of really where I'm at with USD markets. Overall, still very bullish on the dollar. Looking for opportunities in that favor, but I do want to see some deeper corrections for pound, euro, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, dollar CAD before I do get into any opportunities. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Okay, today's in the cut that probably will sit out. Yeah, not every day is going to be a trading day. Some days are going to be a bit stagnant. And it's best to sit out because otherwise you get into a trade and then you lose money unnecessarily. You want to give the market a good excuse to take your profits. Let the market present you a good trade. So okay, you'll take the good trade, but if it's poor quality or just nothing really presenting itself, then you're giving up gains very easily. Disintegrated. I wonder if the XY will have the Trump ball effect again or not. Maybe we'll wait and see. That possibly could be the case. I do expect to see some type of reaction though, because it's a pretty big thing. So I do expect some type of reaction, but I don't know how big of a one it will be, really. But we'll wait and see. It'll be interesting. Ahmed, what is up? Good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Ola Fenwell, welcome to the stream. Good day. Hope you're doing good. Himanshu, welcome to the stream. Yours, UNZ shorts because just no cut rates are faster. What do you think? Potentially. I don't like Euro Aussie and Euro NZD shorts. Actually, I don't mind Euro NZD because it's right at the top of the range. We'll go take a look in a second. But yeah, I mean, I'm shorting Euro CHF at the moment, so hopefully that could come in for Euro actually, because I'm bearish on Euro CHF. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the pairs you just mentioned in terms of the shorts. I think Euro NZD is not bad. I actually like this one. Not the biggest fan of the price action, but in terms of shorting, right at the top of a range here. If you look at the prior price action on the left, major high formed, massive move to the downside. Again over there, massive move to the downside. We're there a third time. Could see another continuation. So in terms of risk to reward and just a good healthy area to short from, this is a great location for that. Should you see another big level, you can be looking at a really big swing trade. And of course, in terms of managing risk, your stop loss is probably going to be above the high there. So in terms of risk to rewards, you're risking like that amount to potentially capitalize on a move there. So the RR is looking very, very healthy there for UNSD in terms of the shorts. So I actually would say UNSD looks good if you are expecting more downside for Euro. UNSD is not a bad pair to look at actually, because you're in a really nice place for it. Euro Aussie is looking okay. I'm pretty sure we're at resistance as well. Yeah, but not as clear cut as Euro NZD. So Euro NZD is back at this high relatively to Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie is testing some resistance there on the left, which did give us a pretty nice move to the downside, but it isn't as clear cut or clean as Euro NZD. And again, the way I'm looking at Euro Aussie right now, these are the major lows, major highs up there. If I'm looking to play the range, I want to make sure I'm kind of right at the top or right at the bottom. And this is not really being right at the top. So I'd rather be up there for a short or down here for a long. So yeah, Euro NZD I would back. Of course, they are similar pairs. They both do the same thing in general. So if Euro NZD does fall and have a big move down, then Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, they'll both fall together most likely. But in terms of technicals, Euro NZD is in a much smarter location to short should it see the full swing. So yeah, I would say Euro NZD looks good. I probably want it to push a little bit higher, so it's right back at the resistance again. Because right now in the 4-hour chart, we're kind of just floating below. It's been nice if you could push back to the high again, maybe form a nice double top on the 4-hour chart, and that could be your entry there to take some sells, stop loss above the high, and of course you got a really big swing to take advantage of there. Should we see a move back to the lows? But regardless for Euro being weak or strong or not, it is a smart area for a short. Euro JPY, okay, blessing. We'll take a look, no problem. Darkshon is trading in 70-bit range, but don't like ranges. Okay, yeah, join the club. Don't like ranges either. I'll take a look at GJ on the 5 minutes, see what you're talking about. Ahmed, NASDAQ, and US 30, of course, we'll have a look see for you, no problem. Karis, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so Euro JPY, we'll start with that one. So last time I checked, it was looking pretty bearish. It's pushing up a little bit on the day here. But overall, we have seen some nice lower lows and lower highs. We had the original high over there. Market formed a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and again, another lower low. So in my book, this is pretty bearish stuff for Euro Yen, and I do expect market to keep falling. We do have the prior low back down over here at 156.5. So in my book, I do still see price getting there. The way I'm looking at the higher time frames, which I've spoken about a lot, this just looks like a massive head and shoulder pattern to me. Head, left, head, right shoulder. And actually, we've got another head and shoulder pattern here. Left, head, another right shoulder there as well. So I'm expecting us to melt down really for Euro Yen. And if I was to drop to the low time frames, we're seeing signs of that happening as well, with the lower lows and lower highs creeping in. So I would say for Euro Yen, the next play would be looking for the next lower high to form. So another pullback of this move, another lower high, and then of course a continuation. If I was to whip out the fib from the high to the low, so I would say at least coming back into that 0.618 area. In fact, that brief consolidation there looks good around the 0.618. If we can get back to 161,600, I would say that's a healthy area for a correction, a place where we could see another lower high form and again another push to the lows. So yeah, I'll be pretty bearish on Euro Yen, expecting more of the same. As long as we don't go and break structure now, as in take out the high over there on the left and close above that, that's what would change my bias. But as long as we can maintain that high, then any move to the upside, I'm looking as a pullback for Euro Yen and eventually a bigger swing to that low. But of course, if you're looking at something more intraday, probably going to keep it simple, back into the price swing low, call it a day from there. You can always leave positions if you want to try and run them. But yeah, Euro Yen to me looks really bearish. I like the structure, seeing healthy momentum. I had a look at the yen basket, and that was looking pretty bullish to me. Some nice higher highs and higher lows there. Let me go to the other one. Some nice higher highs and higher lows creeping in the market there. So as long as we maintain that, I do expect more upside for the yen basket. And if the yen basket can have a bit of a correction as well, that'll be great to see, because then Euro Yen will have its correction too. And so on and so forth. So yeah, euro yen, I do like the shorts a lot. Just need to see a bit of a pullback for that one. And 161, 600, that area on the hourly chart, looks the best there. So yeah, I'll be expecting a lot more downside. Good morning, Lauder. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Okay, so I'll go through GJ quickly. Let's see what's happening on the 5-minute. Okay, yeah, it is pretty corrective now. So yeah, we did see that lower high. Oh yeah, we did get that retest of that high there as well. Nice reaction, nice push down. But since then, price has been really corrective. To be honest, you are correct there, Darkshun. We are very, very corrective now. Can even probably look at it as sideways as well. That's a bit of a fake to the downside and pretty flat highs there too. So yeah, price action maybe not looking as good as it was the past couple of days, because we have actually had some really nice lower highs, I must admit. We had the big double top over there, and since then the market had a lovely drop, lower high, nice drop, lower high, nice drop, lower high, and again had another one over there as well. So the structure's been pretty clear cut since that previous move, but now it's maybe a bit dry, as you would expect. It's not always going to be crystal clear and healthy trending conditions. We will go through some of these choppy periods over here, which you will always experience. So as we said earlier, not every day is a trading day. Some are going to be ranges, like over there as well. And of course, other days you will get some healthy, clear structure down and up as well. But it's a skill in itself to be able to identify that, really, because a lot of people wake up every day, looking to take a trade. And if you have that kind of mentality, you will find a trade from somewhere. Even if it's not a good one, you'll find a trade. If you have the mentality that you're waking up to try and take a good trade, well, then if there is no good trade, you stay out the market. So yeah, it does look a bit choppy than the lower time frames. Anyway, let me go through NASDAQ and US 30 for Ahmed. So NAS, we had that reaction. Price came back into this kind of trend line resistance. We're forming these lower highs. We had the original higher high over there. Nice drop, lower high, nice drop, lower high. And again, in that same area. So we did speak about shorts from this level. If the market holds this, I'm expecting another push to the downside back into support, which is this level here around 2,800. So that is still the plan with NAS. As long as we don't break, above the trend line, that is still the bias. And as you can see, we had a pretty nice bearish engulfing candle yesterday and had a bit of a drop to the downside. So I would still be looking at more downside there for NAS. Excuse me, back into 2,800, and then we'll go from there. Maybe we bounce again. Essentially, the market is just kind of squeezing between the support and the trend line anyway. This is what we're doing. And eventually the market is going to either break to the upside, or it's going to, break to the downside, and the support is going to give way. We'll find out which of the two is going to happen. But at the moment in time, it's still within the range, still within the trend line. So naturally expecting more downside off this area. If we were to break through, of course, that would be, that would be something significant. And at that point, we're looking probably at continuation to the upside. And of course, you've got the all-time highs on the left as your target to work towards. But yeah, for now, I'll be pretty short biased there with NAS. Still respecting the highs. Really nice bearish engulfing candle. I'll be naturally looking for a test of support. As I said, if we break through, that's when I'll look to change the bias. But for now, still pretty bearish there with NAS 100. US 30, I think this one had a bit of a reaction, not as big as NAS. So yeah, we're still respecting the high there on the left. Again, this is a very important high because this is the high that gave us the low down here, which of course took out these prior lows there on the left. So for me to identify a break of structure here for US 30 to the upside, I do need to see price break the high like this. If you can go and break the high, that would be a really good sign that says, okay, we're breaking structure with momentum as well. At that point, I'm back favoring a longer-term push back to the all-time highs. The hell, we're only getting that much data. What's going on? There we go. And then I'm expecting a pullback and a continuation back to the high there at 45K. So yeah, US 30, if we are going to be bullish, need price to break the high here. It looks like we're going to have another attempt at doing that right now. Of course, we could very much sell off again from that, form a double top. So it's not a given just yet. We need to see evidence of price closing above these highs first to really buy into that. But it looks like US 30 is going to have a attempt at least. NAS 100's looking a little bit bullish this morning as well, so maybe that's going to have another attempt too. But if they fail and we respect the high again, then yeah, expecting a move back down. Same thing for US 30. If we fail to break the high, then yeah, we're probably forming double top to sell off right back into support again. And naturally targets will be down here. So if you're looking to short US 30, we're actually in a good area for it. I'll wait for some rejection there, maybe a nice double top on the hourly chart. And that could be the signal that takes us right back to these lows, stops above the high. And of course, if we were to hit the stop loss, break structure as well, then I'll be looking at buys anyway. And yeah, something like that, all the way back to 45K. So yeah, at the moment, pretty bullish on US 30 if we break the high. Same with NAS, same thing with 500. Yeah, so this one's trying to break the trend line as well. Hasn't broken through it yet. Still a very strong rejection yesterday. So again, that's still holding. So naturally still expect to move to the downside. The moment we do break through is when I'll be expecting more upside. And that is a horrendous drawing. What the? Excuse me. What was going on there? Try draw, break, and retest there. Let me do that again. So if you do break the high, then that's a bit better. Then looking for the retest there on lower time frames back to the high at 6K. And then, of course, back to the all-time high at 6100, we'll call it. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with with the indices, or the US indices anyway. But overall, still respecting structure pretty well. Miko went to art school, changed my mind. I did not go to art school. In fact, that drawing there should have changed your mind immediately. But I appreciate it though, Will. Ahmed, yeah, just waiting for confirmation for both. Okay, yeah. So because they're both going back to areas to short from. So yeah, so for NAS, if they're about to sell off again, then I would wait for price to get back to that high, double top it, and short. Of course, depending on what time frame you're looking to get involved, and then US 30 as well. We're trading at that level right now. So if we were to respect it again, I think that's a great place to short from. And target the lows. Hey, Holy One, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good, my man. UK 100 buys and sells in 40 months. It's going to the ooh, what's going on there with UK 100? I haven't actually looked at this one for a while. Wow, yeah. I've actually not looked at this one for a while, actually. It's been maybe I didn't look at it. This one, I think I had a look at it once last week, but was still comfortably in the range. But yeah, that's the thing with this one. It does this pattern a lot. It ranges, breaks out, ranges, breaks out. All you have to do is scroll to the left and see massive range. Eventually picked up momentum. Massive range, picked up momentum. Although just to go into another one, it does it a lot. Even another range there, nice push up. Another range there, nice push up. Although it did form a range in, had a big meltdown, but it does like that price action. But yeah, it's looking very, very bullish at the moment. And is it new highs? Yeah, new highs as well. So, wow, did not see that coming. I mean, I was looking for price to eventually take out the high, but I just thought we're gonna maybe range for another few months because that's what price has been doing. But yeah, looking very strong there in the weekly chart, and daily chart is looking pretty strong as well. Crazy stuff there. But yeah, it took my eye off this guy for one moment, and then that's when it goes. That's funny because it's been ranging for so long. How long has the range been? So that's about 250 odd days, would say. So, you know, two-thirds of a year pretty much. And that's why it's not the best indice to trade unless you're just going to be looking to call the tops and bottoms on the ranges. Then, yeah, it's not a bad indice. But if you're looking for like trend continuations, horrible, horrible market. What's up, man? Zondi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Christopher, I'm doing good. What is up? Hope you're well. Yeah, it is gone. It is gone like a rocket, flying. Christopher. Oh, okay. Yen longs take profit 161,800. Hope I'm in a good territory. You are in a good territory for a long. I'm pretty bearish in Yen. I'm expecting a lot more downside for the pair. In fact, I'll go through the yen pairs in a moment. But yeah, I'm still pretty bearish on the yen pairs. But if you're looking for a long, it's not a bad place for a buy. Back at the low, we just actually taken out that low as well. And looks like we're still just about holding on to support there on the left, which of course gave us a really strong move to the upside. So you're actually in a nice place for a buy, nice territory. This is definitely where buyers would be looking to get involved. Hence, we had that previous move when we were last here. A bit of a reaction there as well. But I do expect a lower high to form and another push back down. So that would be my caution with longs. Yes, we're in a great area. Yes, previous sellers in this leg probably took profits at that low. So naturally, we probably will see a reaction. But as we start to approach 161, 600, 161, 700, that's kind of where I do expect potentially another low high to form for price to continue down because I'm looking for the continuation of this bearish structure. So nice place for a long. I do definitely agree there. We're already looking a little bit bullish this morning anyway. I do expect us to sell off once we start getting back to that 0.618 of that fib, which is kind of more or less where you take profit is. You said 161,800. Yeah, it's pretty much here. So it's pretty much the same area, really, where I said sell. So I think your target's in a nice place. But yeah, I do expect the bigger move to be to the downside and the buys you're taking advantage of, most likely to be a pullback, which kind of looks like that's kind of what you're looking for anyway. Because otherwise, if you're looking for continuation, your targets probably would have been up here. So for you to target there means you're probably looking for a pullback anyway. But yeah, so it's a nice place for a buy, and we're in that phase anyway. Ahmed, do you think BTC will hit all-time high? Yeah, I do think so. Let me quickly go through BTC and then I'll go through the yen pairs. I do think Bitcoin will hit. Oh, it's looking very bullish, and we've broken out that little trend line, haven't we? Yeah, but yeah, I do think Bitcoin's on its way to all-time highs now. What's that? 107. The all-time high is actually 108, isn't it? Yeah, 108, 385 around there. So I do think Bitcoin will go push to all-time highs now. As I said, that support level, as long as price holds that, I remain bullish on Bitcoin. And in fairness, we did a really good job at doing that, to be honest. The support held numerous occasions. It got very choppy at one point, still is, to be honest. But on Monday's candle, that big wick kind of is the catalyst for this momentum because that wick would have taken out a lot of traders here. And now it closed pretty strong. We're seeing that momentum creep back into the market. So yeah, I do expect to see price push back to the all-time highs, create some more. My only worry is with Bitcoin is momentum is such a big role in this. So if price goes to the all-time highs, I need to kind of create some more with some healthy momentum again. Otherwise, we might just kind of break the high and kind of stagnate a little bit and then go back into another big correction, kind of like what we did here. And then that's just not a good sign. Even though we are bullish, it's probably price is getting ready for a drop like that pretty soon. So momentum needs to pick up with Bitcoin. It still isn't really there yet. I know we're looking bullish on the day. There we go. I know we're looking bullish on the day or the past few days, which is great. And we are holding the support pretty well. And I do expect us to get to the all-time highs. But the way we break them is going to be very, very significant. If it's kind of lacklustered, Not looking too good. You can see the way we broke the highs here last time. Those are the prior highs. No messing around. Big candle through. We're a little bit choppy the few days after, but momentum came in and we saw price really rally. And if you look to the left, you can see the last time we broke highs over here. Look how corrected we were when we broke highs. Very, very flat. And eventually the market had that big correction. Even over here, when we got very slow, we started breaking the highs very correctively. Push up, push back down, push up, push back down, and of course, form the corrective ascending channel. Then what happened to Bitcoin? Bitcoin absolutely tanked. So I wonder, are we becoming in this corrective manner? So although yes, but Bitcoin's holding to support, it's probably going to push back to all-time highs. But if it doesn't do it with momentum, I think we'll probably be forming a top pretty soon, maybe around the 115 to 120K area. And we might have a big correction from there. But yeah, for now, it's looking good. I do think all-time highs probably be hit in the next few days. Okay, so I'll go through the yen pairs. No problem, Chris. Just want to write it there and take sales down as well. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, so if you're looking for the pullback, yeah, it looks like you're in a good place for that, and your targets reflect that pretty well. So yeah, I do expect Euro yen's bigger move to be to the downside, but of course, just because I'm expecting downside doesn't mean we can't have pullbacks and upside, and of course I could be completely wrong as well. But yeah, a nice area for a buy. I would agree. Okay, let's go through the yen pairs. So, what's up, Anthony? Good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. So, we've had a pretty bearish week for the yen pairs in general. If I look at the weekly chart, you can see we're down there for pound yen. Euro yen is, of course, down for the week as well. Just about anyway, actually. Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, I'm not sure about these guys. Just about, but pretty much a doji. CAD yen, that's definitely bearish for the week. Yeah, closing bearish there. CHF JPY, that should be bearish as well. And dollar yen, probably slightly bearish. Actually, a bit more than expected, to be fair. But yeah, we are seeing a bearish close. Not necessarily massive momentum. It's not like we're seeing a statement candle, because of course when the yen pairs sell off, they normally do sell off pretty hard. As we saw in July, August, really heavy momentum there. Haven't really seen that momentum come into the market yet. It's still maybe some signs there. I mean, pound yen, yes, a little bit, but that's more to do with pound weakness. Pound was very, very weak, and it kind of caused that, not really yen strength. But yeah, with pound yen, I'm expecting more downside as well. Expecting us to come back into support down here, break through support and continue a lot further. I do think pound yen eventually will come back down and hit the lows here. So that is very much my long-term goal, or one of my long-term targets there with pound yen. Now my plan is just to see how can I get into a trade here? How can I find my next entry? At the moment, I can't really see that happening anytime soon, because we are approaching really strong support on the 4-hour chart. 189, this is the support which gave us, well, daily chart as well. But this is really strong support, which gave us a big move to the upside. And we're pretty much, like 10 pips away from that area. So, I'm not looking to take advantage of 5-10 pips. I need a much bigger push to the upside for myself to find a pullback to short. At least I'll be away from support. Or if price goes and breaks through, I'll look for the next pullback after that, then try and get involved there. So that's really what I'm looking for pound yen in terms of my personal trading, to get entries, because the ship has definitely sailed. We formed equal highs over there, a low, lower high, lower low. So the plan was at the start of the week to get some pullbacks back into support here, retest that level, and then continue. That would have been a really nice trade, but unfortunately for myself, we just didn't see that much of a pullback before price continued. Doesn't mean we still can't get it. We could still definitely push up to that level and get a sell, and something I'm still keeping an eye on. But yeah, the ship has kind of sailed already, unless it decides it wants to come back to that level again, then I'll look for entries. But at the moment, I don't really have a setup for pound yen. Close to support, starting to lose some of that momentum. I need that bigger pullback. So 194.5 is still my preferred area. Will we get there? I have no idea. If we do, great. If we don't, there's other markets I'm looking at. But that's still my number one opportunity for pound yen. But again, in terms of direction, expecting us to keep seeing downside. In terms of CAD yen, this is a yen pair which I wasn't really looking too much at this week, but now since we've got the breakout, it's definitely something I'm looking at now. Really nice push to downside, decent momentum, maybe not the best in the world, but at least I can say confidently that this is a breakout. Of course, if price does break back in, then it will be a fake out, but for now, it's a pretty confident move to the downside. So this is the support level that CAD yen has been dancing on for a while, and now we have since broken it. So if this can be flipped as resistance, and if we can hold that, I do think that will be the level that sends us back to these lows and hopefully a lot further. Similar to Euro yen, I'm looking at this as a giant head and shoulder pattern. So you got your left, you got your head, and of course you got your right shoulder, and this being your neckline of the pattern. And you've kind of got another head and shoulder pattern, maybe not as clear, but still kind of fits the bill. Left head, right shoulder, back to lows. Yeah, that's kind of your neckline there. So yeah, pretty bearish here on CAD yen, expecting more downside. And looking at this being the major high after this move here. So if that is going to be the major high, I do expect to see a trend form back into support. And what am I doing there? Can I not draw? There we go. And then more downside. So that's really what I'm looking at for CAD yen. And if that is going to be the next lower high, which looks like it is, we've broken through the counter trend line, breaking through structure as well. This was the last low, which gave us the high. Price has gone and broken through that low. So that is giving me a bearish signal now. So yeah, looking at lower high for some shorts back into support down there. And then hopefully we can take it further as well. But CAD yen is now a yen pair, which I'm actively looking at. CHF is also another yen pair, which I'm actively looking at as well. Not a yen pair, which I thought I was going to look to trade, but the 4-hour structure is really tidied up. Lovely double top there. A couple of weeks ago, low formed, lower high, lower low, another lower high, and again, we've made some new lows as well. So now the plan is to keep shorting back into the low here. It looks like on the daily chart, we're forming lower highs as well. We've got one over there, massive drop, second over there, third over there. So I'm expecting us to keep pushing back into these lows and eventually these lows and eventually a lot further. So yeah, CHF is looking good from a top-down perspective as well. Healthy structure in the 4-hour chart. I would love to see a pullback back to retest that prior level of support. That to me would be a healthy pullback, a significant one as well. Retest some structure. And there you go. You got your nice shorts back into the low. And as long as we don't break through this high here on the left, that keeps me bearish and keeps me looking to short the market. But yeah, really nice momentum on that bearish leg, really clear lower lows and lower highs. And that's really what I'm looking for in terms of market structure. Number one is the momentum. Number two is the clarity in the highs and lows. And also /3 is their consistency in terms of the trend. Because sometimes you do see weird trends where the market's trending up and does something like weird, but then it still trends up. This is still technically an uptrend, but it's not really crystal clear. So trying to catch that next lower high can always be a bit difficult sometimes. But if the market is very consistent and very kind of proportional, you kind of naturally just looking for that next low high to form in that area. It can define your risk very well. If it continues back to the low, you're making good profits. If it does break out and continue higher, of course, not every trade is going to win, but you had good probability that the trend was going to continue. And if it did, the risk reward pays off pretty well. So I like proportional, clear-cut trends, which is kind of what we're getting there. But then you get those weird trends there, which aren't really great to trade either, which you get quite a lot on FX. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking at for CHF JPY as well. The retest of 172.5. and got some nice trend line confluence as well. If I connect the dots, that's kind of a bit of a fake out there. That could be a really nice place for a short. So CGFJPY really focused on that one as well. Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys just very choppy, still within the range, to be honest. I do expect them to eventually break out and continue that larger move on the higher time frames back to these lows here. Whether they break to the upside first and then make the move, or break to the downside straight away, I have no idea. But my plan is not really look to try and predict things inside the middle of the range. I'm very much looking for price to break out, and then I'll analyze and give a bit more feedback. So for now, I'm not going to speak too much on Aussie yen inside the middle of the range. We might bounce off the low. Great stuff. Again, not really a trade I'm looking to take. Likewise, we might bounce off the high. And again, that could be a great trade. But until we kind of see momentum breaking through, up or down, then I'll be analyzing the market in a bit more detail, because at least we've got momentum to trade then. But at the moment, it's just very, very flat right now. And if I go to New Zealand yen, yeah, same situation, right at the low support. And of course, you've got the equal highs there as well. Market's very, very flat right now. I do, again, expect us to eventually get back to the lows here. Again, whether we break to the upside first and then get the sell, or you just sell off straight away, difficult to tell, although we did kind of get a strong close there yesterday. I wonder if that's breaking through support. I mean, I'd probably still draw the support level like this, really. So I'll need price to close below that as well. But yeah, for now, New Zealand yen still in the consolidation. If anything, that's actually not a bad buy, really, for New Zealand yen, actually. If you're looking to try and trade that range low, not a bad place for an entry, not a bad place for a stop loss. And again, should it play out, or at least back to the high there, looking at pretty good risk to reward, probably 1 to 3, 1 to 4. So some decent return on risk there for New Zealand yen. But again, not really interested in trading a range there. Just waiting for the breakout, waiting for momentum, and then hopefully looking for pullbacks of that. But yeah, eventually New Zealand yen, another yen pair, expecting continuation of that drop in July/August, and a push right to those lows at 85. And then last but not least, you got your lovely dollar yen, which actually is the most interesting one of them all, because I'm still looking to buy this one. Really healthy bullish structure from that low to create the new high over there. So again, I'm essentially looking for the pullback of this move. If I map out the fib from the low to the high, you've got your area over there on the left. You've got your area over there on the left. This is where I'm looking to buy from. Got the 0.5 running through that same zone as well. So I want to see price push into that zone, retest it, get the swing to the upside. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. You've got a healthy trend there. And if everything goes really well, there's a possibility you could swing it all the way to the high there. But at the moment, still very comfortable uptrend. We had a massive break and retest of some weekly resistance to weekly support, which is what's keeping me bullish on the higher time frames as well. So as you can see, massive resistance down the left. Big rejection once, big rejection twice, kind of broke below, broke back above, then used that as support pretty well. So that's why I'm looking for a push back to the highs for USD JPY. And of course, with my bullish bias on USD as well, it makes sense to be looking to buy dollar yen, at least rather than selling it. Even if I do expect yen to be strong, dollar could potentially be stronger than yen in general. So yeah, dollar yen for me, 144.5 still looks good. Of course, if price does break through and I don't get a signal, I'll stay away. But the rest of the yen pairs I'm actually exclusively looking to short. And of course, we talked briefly about the yen basket, which again, I'm expecting more upside as well. But first, the pullback, we're just going to take up the highs over there on the left. So maybe we are due a bit of a pullback now. We do have some healthy bullish structure, equal lows. That's our high there. Broke structure, higher high, then higher low, then new higher high. So now looking for a pullback of that, and then some more highs created, and a push back to the high there is still the plan. So that's why I'm looking for the yen pairs to sell off, because I'm expecting the yen basket to do the opposite. And of course, I'm still looking at this as a massive impulse, and this is the correction of that. So yeah, push back to the highs is what I'm looking at. But we'll see. We'll see. I like the structure. Pretty bullish. Due another pullback. And yeah, more downside or upside there. Excuse me. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the end pairs. Holy one who jumped off the diving board yet for NAS, or you still no, I never started trading NAS. It was US 30, Holy one. But yeah, I have started. I mean, I haven't taken a position yet, but it is on the watch list. I am looking to trade it. If I do get a trade, I will look to enter it, to be honest. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I thought since it's the new year, might as well just start with it. Yeah, to be honest, I could have started probably end of last year, but I waited for the new year and I'm gonna start trading it. So yeah, it's on the watch list. I haven't taken any trades on it yet, but then again, you know, I take a look at 32 pairs now, 32 markets I look at in general. So you know, I could easily not touch a market for a good 3 months before I take my next trade on it. So yeah, who knows when I get my next position. At the moment, I don't really have a setup I'm looking at either for US 30 right now. It's coming up to top of resistance. If it starts breaking through it and forms a bit of an uptrend, maybe I might look to take some buys on some pullbacks. I'm waiting for price to break the high there and get some pullbacks, and then I could be interested in some longs. At the moment, nah, it's kind of a bit flat for me, moving sideways. So that's some nice resistance. We could sell off from there, but not really ticking my boxes just yet. Will still okay, still in short entries for Euro Yen 161.648. Where is that? 161.648. Okay, so you got some entries around here. I remember you said you got the FOMO entries, but it played out pretty well. Stop loss trail to 160.6. 160.6. Okay, that's around here. Oh, not too far away from current price. But hey, even if it does hit you out and take you out the trade, you still walk away for profit. That's the beauty of a trading stop loss. Of course, you don't take your profit right at the top or right at the bottom of a swing. But whatever happens, you're guaranteed to walk away with something if you're trailed into profit, of course. And you never know, maybe price just keeps falling. So yeah, again, the idea is that Euro Yen's got a lot more downside. So I'm expecting price to keep falling. And if you do get trailed out, you can just look for more re-entries. I'm looking at pullbacks as well. I mentioned this 161.5 or 161.6 area as a healthy place to short from, trying to catch the next lower high in this sequence here. And again, you can probably find some more entries in that area and take the next trade. But yeah, I do have a pretty bearish bias with Euro Yen as well. Lauder, pound is very weak, and even up just a pullback. Economic indicators all showing weakness. Okay, yeah, and pound has been weak in general. Pretty much every pound pair, pound USD, pound CHF, pound yen, pound CAD, pound Aussie, pound NZD as well, and of course Euro pound big push to the upside. So pretty much every currency pair, pound is the weaker one, at least in the past week. Maybe not currently right now, but in the past week, pound's been the weaker one against every major currency pair. So yeah, pound is still pretty weak, and pound USD I'm still looking to short. Pound yen I'm still looking to short. Pound CAD, if it can break the lows, I'm looking to short as well. And pound CHF, if it can definitely break the lows on that one, because that one needs some work, because there's a massive range. So I need price to break this support level. If that can break, then yeah, 100% I'm looking at shorting pound CHF as well. So I do expect a pretty big move all the way back down to these lows here. So if that can break, I'll look to short pound CHF as well. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on the technicals anyway as well with pound. Will expecting more inflation since the last gas supply. It goes October, which means okay. Yeah, I mean, it maybe hasn't been priced in yet. Yeah, yeah. US 30. What's up, Karis? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Yeah, I'm currently still in Euro CHF. It's been a bit of a pain. Prices just all over the shop, really. Um, it's been up and down, been a bit profit, a bit in drawdown at the moment, a bit in drawdown as well, just above my entry price. But to be honest, this is kind of what you could expect from Euro CHF. A lot of people don't like trading the pair because of this reason, and like 100% get it. Um, but you can see prior price action, it tends to do that a lot. Of course, it does have its moments where it's clean and there's a lot of momentum. I think that was the time when we were having the yen pairs completely sell off. So there was just a lot of momentum in the market at that period of time. And that was a pretty nice move there as well. At the moment, it is just very, very choppy. If it does break above that resistance there around 0.941, I will look to close the trade a little bit early. I do have my stop loss above the high. Um, so that is where my risk is defined to. But if we do break the resistance, I will exit early because that's the level I'm shorting from. So if it's breaking through that, I've technically lost my confluence. And if, of course, if it does break back underneath, I'll look for a re-entry. But yeah, looking at downside for this one and just essentially looking at another lower high, we've got one over there, second, third, fourth, fifth. Did I count that correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, number 6 there. And see if we can make it back to the lows at 0.924. But yeah, pretty bearish on CHF. I'm pretty bearish on most CHF pairs actually. Euro CHF, shorts, New Zealand CHF. I was looking to short, but because I'm trading Euro CHF, I've stayed away. And in hindsight, New Zealand CHF probably was the better trade to take. I mean, it hasn't really gone anywhere too, but the signal happened over here. Even got a second signal over there as well. Um, I mean, both it just will be in a little bit of profit right now. So it hasn't been much better than Euro CHF, but the structure is a little bit cleaner. So in hindsight, I probably should have just taken New Zealand CHF. But then again, if CHF is going to be strong, they're both going to fall. So effectively, it's the same trade, but maybe New Zealand CHF is a cleaner move than Euro. We'll see. But yeah, New Zealand CHF pretty bearish as well. Looking at the higher time frames, pretty consistent lower lows and lower highs, and expecting to move back down to that low there, 0.49. And of course, we just spoke about pound CHF briefly. I really like the consolidation here because it's been in the consolidation for ages. Typically the longer the market consolidates for, the bigger the breakout. So if you do see a prolonged range and you're like, when is price going to break out? Yeah, it might continue to range for a while, but when it does break out, if it can give some nice opportunities on some pullbacks afterwards, you could be looking at some really big moves as well. A good kind of reference point is the width of the range. So, for example, not the width, sorry, the height of the range. So, example, the height more or less around 230 pips. If we look at 230 to the downside, you're more or less looking at that low there. Here, but I would expect momentum to pick up anyway and just take us back into that low there. So yeah, if we can see a solid break of support here, I do expect us just to push back into that low. So if we can get a break, pull back somewhere, it doesn't even have to be a retest of the low here. Of course, that would definitely be my preferred area. But if we create some structure and have a retest of that area, I'll be more than happy to take shorts off that as well. Doesn't have to be the retest of the low, although that would be great. So yeah, pound CHF definitely something I'm looking at, and as well, if pound CHF does break to the downside, that should help my Euro CHF position out because pound and euro very, very similar. I know pound's a bit weaker than euro in general at the moment, but pound CHF does see a break of that consolidation. I do expect euro to follow suit and other CHF pairs as well. So hopefully that can continue. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. I do appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far, subscribed to the channel. It does really help out the stream and the channel. So I do really appreciate that, guys. And of course, whilst you're at it, hit the bell so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. So you are in the loop. But yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed the content, drop a like. It does really help out. Lauder, New Zealand CAD. Okay, still holding, but not impressed. Join the club. That's the same with me with Euro Swiss. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on New Zealand CAD as well. I do expect more downside. What's up, Ninad? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Look at me. I just typed your name into the thing. That is horrendous. My bad. Let's try and look at your chart. I meant to type New Zealand CAD. It's because it starts with N. So Ninad and then ends the CAD. That's funny. Anyway, okay, let's look at New Zealand CAD. So yeah, I'm very bearish on still making me laugh. I'm very bearish on New Zealand CAD as well. Personally, I'll be looking for a bigger pullback, but yeah, that just hasn't happened. And since we're so close to the low, we might kind of just spill over, which I kind of think price might do. New Zealand dollar and the USD is looking pretty similar as well. It's still corrective, but hasn't quite hit a big low yet. So I think price might just go and push the downside. But yeah, I've been talking about a retest of this support level for some shorts. I've also been talking about a retest of this, a retest of this area here as well for some sells, but it never quite happened. I mean, we still could get that pullback, so I'm not going to rule it out completely. But yeah, Lauder, you said you're doing some shorts back over here, I think. Yeah, early in the week, and it has been pretty sideways. But yeah, we're in an area where we could form a lower high. If I whip out the fib from the high there to the low, we've pulled back into the 0.618. Looks like we're tapping into some price structure on the left. In fact, if I drop to the hourly chart, see a bit better. Looks like we're respecting some areas on the left here. Nice support there. Tapped into that a few times. Has held pretty well. So from an hourly perspective, it does make a load of sense. Really healthy structure. And again, if we are going to continue this corrective wave here, that's kind of where I do expect it to continue from. So yeah, from an intraday standpoint, looks good. I'm not the biggest fan because it is still very corrective. I mean, New Zealand CAD is pretty corrective in general, but it would be nice if we had a bit more momentum. I mean, even this trend here is pretty corrective too. So it's only so much you can get there. But yeah, if it can hold that resistance, of course, there's a good chance we're pushing back into the low, and probably at that point back into the daily low there as well, just below us. But for myself, if it does push a little bit higher, I'll be interested in some sells. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, that'll be something I'll be looking at, or even a retest of this consolidation here. That'll be something I'll be looking at as well, back into the same low. But yeah, very, very choppy price action. I'll go through some of the CAD pairs whilst I'm on the topic. Just small data use 30 TP. Okay, nice. Couldn't wait any longer. You remember I had an entry at 41,797. TP hits 43,260. Okay. Maybe I should have held the position. Let me have a look, see. So you had an entry where? 41,797. Let's see. 41. So right below that. Okay, yeah, I remember you saying. TP hit 43,260, which is more or less there. So was that your target that you had before you took the trade? So was that your outright target? Or was that just you closing the trade at that price because you felt you already had a decent enough profit? If it was your target before the trade and it hit that target, then you did the right thing to close the position. Um, yeah, you did the right thing to close the position. If that was your target pre-trade, before you got into the trade, then yeah, 100% you did the right thing. Because there'll be situations where your price will hit your target, but then you don't close because you think it will go further, and then it turns it back against you, end up taking a small win or a break even or potentially a loss sometimes. And that's where you're going to kick yourself because it hit your target. So why didn't you close the trade? So 100% you did the right thing. Whether it's the right thing in general, in terms of if the market will keep going or not, you're not to know that until hindsight, really. Um, my thought process with US 30, as long as we do have bullish structure, I'm always looking to take it back to the high. At the moment, we don't really have bullish structure yet. So if I was in a buy in a similar place to you, I would probably have my target at the same place, really. Although, yes, maybe US 30 does get back to the high and I could always leave a small position to run, but I'll definitely look to secure most of my profits back at the high here because at the moment, we've actually seen a lot of bearish pressure. We've broken through lows on the left. There is a possibility a lower high does form and we keep dropping there. So I would take my profit at that level. If it was like this structure here where there's clean higher highs and higher lows, and let's say we had a pullback and I got into a long here, then yeah, I would always look to target at least the high, and I'd probably look to trail as well, just in case we keep pushing, because I know US 30 can run. But yeah, in that circumstance, I'd say you did the right thing. Of course, price can still very much push to the high there, and maybe you kick yourself, but you weren't to know that beforehand, so you can't really take that into consideration. It was your limit order, didn't expect this profit. Okay. But yeah, if that was your target, I would say you did the right thing. In the larger time frame, it was my position at 0.5 fib. Yeah, again, like I said, if that was your target beforehand, you did the right thing. If you kind of made it on the spot, then it's always tricky when you do that. There's no real consistency with that. Of course, you can do things on the fly. Okay, price action is not looking good anymore. Let me close the trade early. Of course, if you plan for those things, then yeah. But my general rule of thumb with trading is that you never want to make up things as you go along, because 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, it's generally emotional driven, whether you're emotionally reacting to what the chart is giving you or you're emotionally reacting to the profit and loss you're seeing. That's why you're going to close a trade or add more to a trade or whatever you're going to do. So it needs to always be pre-planned. That's always my motto. Even if you're going to do things as you see it, at least plan how you're going to do that. So, okay, if I see XYZ, I'll close the trade early. If I see XYT, I'll hold on to the trade. So at least have that in place. That's always my motto. So yeah, we'll go through some other CAD pairs and then I'll take a look at some of the crosses. So we just had a look at New Zealand CAD, which looks very corrective. Looks like Aussie CAD is in the same boat. That is horrendous price action, my word. Still very, very correct. I mean, it's a nice trend. In fairness, nice lower lows and lower highs. Um, very kind of consecutive, but yeah, in just terms of momentum, horrendous stuff there, I must say. But in fairness, I do expect a lot more downside longer term. I've spoken about this a few times, still looking for a push all the way back to the low here. It looks like another major lower high is formed. Double tops there, great stuff. We had the original high over there, which you can't see. There you go. Nice, lovely drop. Double tops there, double bottoms actually as well. This looks like a lower high now that we've broken through this counter trend line. The next stop I have for Aussie CAD is back at these lows here. So I'm very, very bearish in Aussie CAD. And the plan is to try and find a lower high to short. But I really want to see momentum pick up before I do anything. Because again, instinctively, when I do see corrective price action like this, I'm always thinking to myself, okay, the market's going to have a pretty big move to the upside at some point now. Yes, the bigger move might be to the downside, but I do expect us to go for a bit of a breather first and then continue. That's always my instinctive thoughts, because corrective behavior never tends to last very long. You can see up here as well, corrective behavior. Eventually, the market had a really nice drop to the downside. It still did eventually go up, after this big push. It still did eventually go and take out the highs there, but it had that big breather initially. So corrective behavior is always something I'm looking for price to end at some point. Of course, I don't know when. Sometimes corrective behavior can go on and on and on and on before it does eventually drop. I mean, this one is a prime example of that. This has gone on for a while, and it hasn't seen the upside yet, and it still could keep going. But I'm looking for that big correction, and hopefully some shorts do form later on. But yeah, still very corrective, still seeing lower highs. In fact, we're in an area where, again, we might see a low high form. There is a pretty nice channel if I can draw it from the high on the left here. So yeah, if we were to see a bigger push into the up end of that channel, then that might be a nice trade actually. Retest some prior resistance, trend line. It could be a nice little trade there for Aussie CAD. Still not a big fan because of how corrective it is, but if we are going to continue in the low highs, then that's a prime place for another low high to form. Kind of retest that prior low there as well. Not bad confluence. So yeah, both New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD expecting a lot more downside and long term as well. What news comes out today for New York Open? I haven't actually looked. I don't think there's much news today, actually. Let me have a quick look. Okay, so we already had Euro CPI. Okay, we've got building permits for USD at 130. That's pretty much it, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And next week, we've got unemployment rate for pound, inflation rate for CAD, inflation rate for yen, Bank of Japan interest rate. Okay, that's interesting. Rates expected to go up by 0.25. That might be the day we see the yen pairs melt. When is that? That's next Friday, 24th of Jan. Mark that on your calendars, people. That might be the day that yen pairs melt. It'd be nice to see if I can get into a trade before that day for yen short. Just need to see a pullback on one of them. Even a retest on CAD yen could be enough. And then Friday, PMI, retail sales. Yeah, so nothing really major next week apart from the yen interest rate, really. USD, though, not much. Not much. Okay, take care, Will. Have a good one, my man. We'll see you next week. In a bit, my friend, in a bit. Okay, so let me go through let me go through pound CAD and euro CAD whilst I'm on the CAD pairs. Then I will go through the crosses. So yeah, pound CAD, I said, is a pair I'm actually looking at a lot because I do think there is some downside for this guy. We've been trending to the upside since this low here, which is all the way back to September 2022. So we've been trending up for a while. We've been trading above massive highs here as well. So I do think the market is due a bit of a correction. And we're seeing signs of that as well. If I head back to the daily chart, equal highs here. Again, not a healthy sign of trend continuation. Market respected the high once, second time, third time. Not what you want to see if the trend's going to continue. And now we're seeing pretty prolonged and aggressive pullbacks. A really harsh move over there. Another one there. Big one here. Another big one here. So again, we're seeing signs that the trend is slowing down. And the biggest sign of all is a break of structure. And we don't quite have that yet. The market's still respecting that low. Need price to actually break that low in terms of a candle closure. And that will be the cherry on the cake because that will tell to me break of structure, no longer expecting the trend to continue. And now expecting a lower high and a lower low to fall. So I need price to break through that, and then I'll start looking to short. And I do like this daily level here as well, around 1.775. I think that's a great place for a short. You can see really nice support there in the 4-hour chart, which of course will be turn resistance. So if we can break below, then get a correction, I'll add pound CAD to the watch list and look for a really big sell. And I do expect us to go pretty far as well, because we've been trading to the upside for a while. I do have this massive level on the daily chart, which I'm looking at around 1.73. That's like my first major target there for pound CAD. So yeah, expecting a lot more downside for this one. Basically the continuation of that momentum from last week. Pound's been so weak, and I do think we can see a bit more of that. EuroCAD seen some upside. A lot of people, yes, they were talking about EuroCAD shorts. I'm not necessarily a big fan of EuroCAD shorts, to be honest. I think this pair is just very choppy, really. Again, if I go to the daily chart quickly, you can see just in general how flat we have been. There's your last major high, taking it back there again. Haven't really broken through that. And you've got your major lows down here. Price has been bouncing. You could argue some more support around here, but again, that's still very flat as well. So overall, EuroCAD has just been sideways. Not really the best market conditions for someone who's looking to trade pullbacks and trending opportunities. So although, yes, we have seen some type of trend here form for EuroCAD, nice lower low, lower high, lower low. We also had a nice break of this support level. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Nice break of this support level, which could be turn resistance, which could give us a nice short to the downside, 100%. But as I've been saying all week, that if we do get some shorts from that level, be careful. I wouldn't be so optimistic in terms of, a massive move. The best I'd probably target is the prior low, because even so, this trend is not really giving me confident signs of continuation either. Very corrective last bearish leg there. Nice momentum here, yes, but the last bearish leg was very corrective. Not what I want to be seeing. I want to see impulse correction, impulse correction. Of course, you're not always going to get that, but that's in theory the best sign of a healthy trend. So although yes, we're coming to a nice area which we can respect, this was our last lower high, and technically speaking, as long as we don't break that high, we're technically bearish. But I would be looking at areas where I can look to lock in gains, just in case price does go against me and puts in the higher low and we see a big push to the upside. So something like this, a retest of that high there, would probably be the first area I'll target in terms of partials and locking in my stop loss to reduce risk. I'll probably consider the lows here as well to lock in some gains. And of course, finally, you've got the low there as well to target. But I would have the expectation in shorting this that a higher low will form and we'll probably push the upside at some point. If we don't and we just sell off, great. I'll take partial along the way so I can still take advantage of that move. But I would expect us to turn around. Not convinced there with EuroCAD. I'd rather short pound CADs. That one's got trending conditions. And more importantly, we had such a big drop there. That is not what I meant to do. And more importantly, we had such a big drop on the 4-hour chart, which displays so much momentum. So yeah, pound CAD is giving me much more confidence to short this one. Anyway, in terms of the crosses, so we had a brief look at Euro NZD, which again I said is not a bad sell because we're right at the top of a range. If you're going to short something in a range, you might as well do it right at the high, and that's kind of where we're trading. If I draw it from the wick there, taking that across, you can see massive rejection. And where are we again? Right back there again. So if the market's going to hold this place and not break out, this is a great place to short. Reason being, risk to reward is very high. Say you get entry here, stop loss there. You could even be tighter than that. If it does get a full swing to the low, you're looking at 5, 6, 7 potentially return on risk there. So the reward is definitely worth the risk, even just for a simple range play. If it does break out, your risk is pretty minimal compared to the reward anyway. So yeah, I think it's a nice place for a short. I talked about in the 4-hour chart. Wait to see if you can form like a nice double top here. Form resistance there pretty well. We've been pretty flat since, so it looks like we might have another spike to the upside which in turn could provide some nice short signals if you do see some healthy rejection. Stops above the high, entries in this area, and you could take it pretty far, even if it is just back to the low there as well. But yeah, I would be looking at shorts for UNZD. Euro Aussie, I'm not as much of a fan with this one. Still looking very corrective. Yeah, I mean, there is some resistance here, but like I always say in a range, if you're looking to get involved, make sure you're right at the top or right at the bottom. Being in the middle where the noise is just going to give you much more of a headache. It's going to be more difficult to find good positions and hold on to trades longer, because the chances are price is going to fluctuate and probably tap your stop loss before going in your favor. If you're right at the top, sure, that can definitely happen as well. I'm not saying you're immune to that, but at least if it does tap you out, either two things are happening. So you're faking out. In that case, you look to get back in once the fake out is confirmed, or it's generally having a breakout. In that case, you don't want to be in the trade anyway. Inside here, you could be whipped back and forth multiple times before the market eventually chooses a direction. So you might have much more losses before capturing a win on average, of course. So yeah, with Euro Aussie, I'd rather be up here, similar to UNZD, right at the high, discussing shorts up there, because we know we've got a 50-50 price holds. You're looking at a very big sell. Again, maximum risk reward back into the low. If it does break out, we can talk about that as well. But at the moment, not in love with the price action. Pound Aussie and Pound NZD, I do like. Those actually have some nice trending conditions. Maybe not the best trend, but we are seeing a lot of these higher lows on top of each other, which is great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking at another one forming. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, we have come back into the 50, but I'm actually looking at a slightly deeper correction to retest the high here. As you can see, it lines up pretty well with the 0.618. I do want to see a slightly deeper push for Pound Aussie, but I can see some signs that we are slowing down here. So, yeah, I'm looking for a little bit more downside for Pound Aussie, maybe a nice double bottom forms, and we do get that push, which potentially might take us back to the high. But if Pound is going to be weak, it might be a little bit difficult to get Pound Aussie back up there again. To be honest, I'm just happy to try and get a reaction. If price can get there, I can get bounce, get my stop loss locked in, because I'll be trading my stop loss. Potentially I could trade it all the way up there. Maybe I just trade it for a few pips and price takes me out for a small win. I do not know, but all I can control in terms of my trading is making sure I'm buying and selling from appropriate areas where there's a good chance of a reaction in my favor. And if price is going to keep going, great, I'll keep trading. If price turns against me, I'll walk away for a small win or a break even. But this is a really healthy area, just below 1.96. If I can get a retest of that, that'll be great. Pound NZD, similar situation as well. Really nice higher lows and higher highs. We've been very consistent with that. Looking for another retest as well. I actually like the retest of this high on the left, last major high on Pound NZD. If you can see a bit more downside, respect that area, try and catch the next high low. Pretty much the same setup as Pound Aussie. Some trendline confluence there as well. That looks like a nice place for a buy, which again, we could end up taking back to highs and maybe further as well. So I do like this one. At the moment, it looks like we can still drop anyway. I'm looking at the current price action. All I'm seeing is drop, correction, drop, correction, drop, correction. So to me, I'm expecting another one to form. Again, maybe a nice double bottom does form, and then we take some buys accordingly. But yeah, at the moment, got to stay patient. Not really at my area of interest, so I need to see a bit more downside initially. And then, I'll pick between the two, between Pound Aussie and Pound NZD, see which one looks the best, and hopefully get some entries off the back of that. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the crosses. I will go take a look at Euro Pound and Aussie New Zealand dollar. They're both looking pretty interesting at the moment. Antonio, what is up? Just to target in your trades, because some pairs you don't see opportunities in. I do myself, currently long for 1.47650. Which pair is that? Yeah, I'm not sure which pair you're talking about, but it really depends. It depends on the opportunity, depends on the setup. I don't really look for a general specific amount of pips. I don't have a general amount. I will look at some trades. I could be looking at 300-400 pips because 300-400 pips makes sense. Other pairs I might be looking for 70 pips or 80 pips because that makes sense as well. So I don't target specifics in terms of pips. I target in terms of the market structure and what makes sense too. So for example, pound NZD, if I do get into some longs here, I'll be looking to target that high. I'll be trading stops anyway, so whether I actually get taken out, around that high um, will be depending how much how far I get in terms of trading the stop loss. I might get taken out earlier. But for example, if I do get a long here, you're looking at about 800 pips back to the high. So technically speaking, my target will be 800 pips there. But if I go to Euro CHF, which is my current position at the moment, my target with that one is 173. So you can see there's a big difference between the pips there. It really depends on the opportunity and the pair as well, because pound ends, these are a lot of pips in that. Euro CHF, there's not as much. Same with Euro pound and then Aussie New Zealand dollar as well. So yeah, it depends on market structure to answer your question. Euro CAD, okay, let me go take a look at that. Okay, so 1.47650. 1.47650. Okay, that's around there. Okay, looking good. Where do you have a target for that position? Okay. Do you what time frame do you use for your entries? I'm probably guessing maybe like 30-minute time frame, maybe 15-minute, hourly, maybe hourly. But yeah, again, it depends on what you're looking for. Because the way I look to manage my risk is I want to risk a set amount of my account per trade and keep that consistent. Um, but yeah, in terms of how much I could win on a trade, it really depends on where I get taken out and really what I'm targeting. Because some pairs I'll be looking for really big moves because it makes sense to. Other pairs I'll be a little bit more conservative because the market's maybe a bit more choppy, or I'm not really seeing that much momentum in the market, so I have to take that into consideration. For example, if I was trading a pair like EuroCAD right now, I wouldn't really have big targets unless I'm shorting right at the high here. Then I can look for a pretty big swing. But if I'm in the middle somewhere in this area, my target would be pretty close. Again, I'll still have a decent risk reward, but it wouldn't be as far as some of the bigger trades I'd look at. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with EuroCAD. Not a big fan of the pair. I'll go take a look at Euro Pound and Aussie New Zealand dollar to finish up with the crosses. Okay, wow, looking at the full shebang there from the 5-minute all the way to the monthly chart. Nice. Looking at the bigger picture, then assuming you're looking to refine your entries on the lower time frames. Yeah, I do something similar. I don't look at as many time frames, but I do look at from a top-down perspective. I do like to see what's happening on the higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. But I do take my entries on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, Euro pound. I've actually been looking for buys for this one, but it's kind of left me in the dust a little bit. I was looking for the retest of this area after we got that candle close, which was great, but the market is just soared to the upside since then, and actually going to take out these highs, which is good actually. I wanted to take out these highs because now I've got more evidence that we're probably going to see a strong push to the upside continuously for Euro pound, because Again, as I've been saying, euro pound is trading a massive monthly level of support. There is a good chance we do take a bit of a bounce here to the upside. As you can see, massive rejection once, twice over there, third time over there, and now we're testing it again for a fourth time. So there is a possibility to see a pretty big move from here. I'm not necessarily looking to take advantage of all of that, but I know, okay, I'm buying from an area where there's a good chance we do see a lot of upside. If I can just take a small piece of that, yeah, I'll be happy. And that's kind of my thinking there with euro pound. And the fact is, we're taking out that high there on the left. If I scoot back to the daily chart, that's more signs, more evidence that, okay, the buyers are taking control here. So it would be great if euro pound could actually pull back all the way to 0.83, 0.832 and retest that level. And because I know euro pound's a very corrective pair, I know there's actually a good chance we actually do that, even though we're looking very, very far away from it right now. There's actually a good chance that euro pound actually does come back and retest this level, or at least has a deep pullback. We tend to do that quite a lot. All you have to do is just look at prior price action. Deep pullbacks are normally pretty much a theme here. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on the retest of 0.32. That could happen as early as next week potentially. So important to stay focused because that could happen pretty quickly. But yeah, that's the plan there of euro pound. There's a pair in the watch list at the start of the week, but of course, since we pulled away, I haven't really been focused on it too much because I know at least by the end of the week, we're not going to be trading back there again. But next week, I'll put it back on the watch list because we might start off pretty bearish, have that move, then maybe I can get some entries. In terms of Aussie, New Zealand dollar, I have been looking at upside for this one, but it's been very, very corrective at the moment. Retesting is retesting some levels right now. And if it doesn't break through this, there is a possibility for a bit of a sell-off right now for euro pound, Aussie New Zealand dollar, sorry. Because the way I'm looking at this market right now is lovely level of resistance there, massive fake out. We're now respecting the same area again. If this does hold, I'm at least expecting a push back into support here, into the lower end of the range. As you can see, massive support there. Again, support there, a bit of a fake out there. But I expect it to hold as support again. So expecting a drop back to this low here for Aussie New Zealand dollar, 1.09791. Actually, if you're looking to short Aussie New Zealand dollar, this is actually a good time to be looking for entries. Probably maybe on the hourly chart. Maybe the entry's actually kind of gone already, but would have been nice to enter there on the hourly chart to kind of maximize risk reward. In terms of the daily chart, I'm actually pretty bullish and I'm looking for a pretty big swing to the upside, but I do want to see a bigger correction first before the buy. I'm looking at this ascending trend line connecting the lows there. I'm actually looking to see if we can get a double bottom down here for some buys. So I actually want to see price hold that, give a nice sell for some buys later on. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the crosses. A few of them I'm looking at. But I would say pound Aussie, pound NZD look the best at the moment. So that's where my focus lies. Only into the 5 and 15 and high time frame to find market structure. Okay. No problem. Happy to help. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially how you wanna look to take your positions. You know, look at the bigger picture, see where the market is likely to go, then look to refine your risk. You know, that way you can rely on a healthy, positive risk reward. For your profits, because that way you have to be concerned too much about having a high win rate, because if your risk reward is 1 to 3 or above, you can have a low win rate as low as 30%, lower than that as well, to generate profit. And of course, if you're refining your risk right down to the 5 and 15, you could be looking at really big risk rewards. So yeah, that's really the aim of the game. Refine risk, keep it small, maximize your gains. Cut losses quick, hold on to winners. What's up, Wandering Dino? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. But yeah, we are approaching the end of the week, so I'm going to keep an eye on some of these weekly candle closures, especially on some of the USD pairs, because we're coming a little bit corrective now, which is not great. We had a nice breakout on the DXY a few weeks ago. Momentum was looking good. Now it's starting to be a little bit more stale. And I wonder, is USD going to see a bit of a pullback in the next few days? I do think we will, although we're looking a little bit bearish in the current weekly candle. So that implies you have seen a bit of downside, as we can see, but nothing major. Market's still relatively flat. And I want to see a bit more downside than that before I do start looking for any buys. So, yeah, not really interested just yet. The USD pair, which I like the most at the moment, is definitely pound USD. A lot of momentum in this one. We've broken through some counter trend lines as well. So as you can see, breaking through this counter trend line here has been a really big statement. High, low, high, low, high, low. Looks like at one point we might get that, but we didn't. We absolutely broke through for aggressive momentum. So I'm expecting us to go tick off these levels on the left, almost at that one, and then eventually that one as well. So the plan for pound USD is very much wait for a pullback and then short. These two levels look good. This is my preferred area, but we might only see a retest of this level here. So I'll keep a lookout for that as well, around 1.235. But you can see lovely high there formed. Of course, pound being very weak did really help this leg out, but really nice move down. And at the moment, I like how price is moving. It's kind of consolidating, moving choppy, which is a good sign because it means, okay, momentum is stagnated, and it means the buyers are not really successful in terms of reversing price. So if we do push up, it's probably going to be pretty corrective unless maybe some major news happens, which means we're probably going to sell off again. So yeah, if we do see a pullback to these areas and see some good confirmations, of course, then it does look like a really good sell. And I do think pound USD is likely to keep falling. Euro USD doesn't look as good. And again, when I'm looking at euro and I'm looking at pounds, because I know they pretty much do the same thing most of the time, I'm always looking at them both together, and then I judge which one's giving me the better opportunity. At the moment, pound USD is giving me the better opportunity in terms of momentum. If you look at pound, if you look at euro, it's a bit more corrective here, not looking as good. If you look at pound USD compared to euro, really strong moves to the downside, still a bit corrective in fairness, and of course the similar pairs there will be, but this one has a much more aggressive move, breaking these lows more aggressively as well. So pound USD looks a little bit better, so I'll just focus on that one in terms of shorts. But yeah, euro USD, same thing as well. I like the retest of this support level around 1.04747. Really nice support, respect it. Once over there, looking to see if we can do it again, catch some shorts off that level, and looking to swing it right back into the low there. So yeah, very bearish in euro USD. However, yeah, I might be bullish on the dollar, but I'm actually still pretty bullish on gold as well. At the moment, it looks like gold is struggling at the highs though. It's actually not a bad time to short gold. If you are bearish in gold, it's actually a decent place to short from because price is right at the top of the range. So, you know, if we are going to respect this level, you know, this is the time to jump into shorts, take advantage of that, and capitalize on a sell. I'm not bearish, so I'm not looking to short gold. I'm looking for the break and retest. If we can get that, I'll be looking for the buys there to take it back to the high of the range. That is very, let me move that down. There you go. That's very much the plan there for gold. But equally, price could still consolidate and mess around in that range for another couple of weeks if it wanted to. So I'm going to have to wait patiently to find out if we are going to break out or not. But we could still remain trapped in that consolidation. So keep an eye on the shorts there. It's already had a nice reaction, but we may revisit in the New York session before selling off. Yeah, we could actually see some pretty decent downside from there for gold. But silver, another one I'm looking to buy as well. Bit of a reaction there. I'm actually keeping an eye out for some buys here at 29.92. Really solid level there. Didn't really act to support well here, but the next high low, there's a good chance for it. If I connect the dots, connecting these high lows, one over there, second there, could see the third form in that same area. And if you do get a push to the upside, I'm at least looking for a push back into the high at 31. Long term, I do see silver pushing back to the all-time high. Well, they're not actually all-time highs, are they? All-time highs are all the way over there. But at least these highs from 2024, I do expect us to push back into that high eventually. However, because it's a pretty deep correction and we are pretty corrective on this way up, I'm not going to be so optimistic to try and hold into that trade for a long time. If we broke to the upside past the high here more aggressively and got a retest, then I'll be a lot more confident to try and hold on to some longs past this swing point here as well into the high there. But because we are still very corrective, there's a chance that this is just a bear flag of this impulse. And now the market is ready to continue its direction to the downside. So I have to kind of watch out for that and play both sides of the coin. You know, if I'm bullish, I'm looking to buy here. If I'm bearish, what am I looking to do? Probably looking to try and catch the next lower high in the sequence. There's one over there. This might just be the pullback of that leg. So as we reach these prices here, now I'm looking to short, which is why I would look to try and take profits at that high. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with silver and gold. I have a quick look at Ethereum. I had a look at Bitcoin earlier, but I forgot to look at Ethereum. Okay, so yeah, Ethereum is looking pretty healthy. I mean, I say that in terms of the lower time frames, but in general, Ethereum is looking not healthy at all. It's very, very flat, equal highs there, respected very, very well. I said there's a good chance not US 30. There's a good chance Ethereum will probably push back to support here around 2,900. We just missed it, to be honest. We could still go and test it, but we just missed it. And of course, Euro. Why do I keep saying Euro? Of course, Ethereum is, generally speaking, in a range here. There's your highs, there's your lows, and we are fluctuating between the two. Now that we've come back to sort of respect the low, there's a good chance we could see something like this happen for Ethereum. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the market structure. Bitcoin's looking very, very attractive with the momentum the past 24 hours. I say that because we broke through this area here, this trend line. Price came back into nice area of confluence for some downside. We had an initial reaction, things looked good, but we never really got going. Left behind a pretty big wick there to the downside, and that kind of triggered price turning around. So it is looking like we're seeing some momentum here. How is Litecoin doing? Oh, that is a huge move. I have not been looking at this one at all. Very big move. So it looks like we just respected support and flew. I was looking for another lower high to fall at this area, but nope. Price absolutely obliterated that level. And it looks like now we're going to push back to the highs there. That is surprising. I was not expecting that. Of course, we have seen quite a few crypto markets give us a pretty big move in the past couple of days. But yeah, haven't kept up to date with Litecoin there. Really big move. So yeah, with crypto being up, we might be seeing indices also be up as well. But they've got structure to break unless, yeah, if we don't break that, then I do think we're probably falling over. If I take a look at S&P, yeah, S&P is in that dodgy area as well. All right, again, we could be forming another lower high. So you've got a high over there, you've got a second high there, third high there. Easily could be the fourth. And if that is the fourth, what happens? Could easily see a big push right back to support and potentially further as well. So yeah, with the indices overall, they could be very bullish, pushing back to highs and so on and so forth. But I need structure to break. And the fact is, we're still putting in these lower highs. As 100 doing that as well. Very well. So need to watch out for that. And if I look at US 30, I know US 30 is not doing that per se. I mean, we are still trading in some resistance here, which is a lower high, which did, in fairness, give us that low. But it's not as prominent lower highs as we're seeing with NAS and with S&P. But again, if US30 does see a solid break of the high here, that is a bullish signal to me. I'm expecting a bit of a trend to form and continuations. And of course, if that's the case, then you've got the all-time highs there to target all the way back at 45K. And then I'll probably start looking for some trades. But right now, not really interested in US30's price action. Even if it does set up for the sell, it's just a bit too flat for me to take trades. If we can see some momentum and some higher highs, higher lows with more candlesticks that look like this and like this there, then yeah, I'm all over that, looking for trades. At the moment, not quite yet. So yeah, in terms of my watch list going into next week, I think my main focus will be trying to get that entry on the yen pairs. I'm very short bias on the yen pairs, looking to sell them. Pound yen's probably not the one I look to get involved with because it's coming back into support right now. So my main focus will be between euro yen, between euro yen, CHF JPY, and CAD yen. So euro yen, lovely bearish structure here. Looking for the pullback of that now for the next lower high. This will be something I'll be looking at next week for some more shorts. CAD yen, I like this one a lot as well. Really nice break of support there, break of the counter trend line, breaking out this range essentially. So lovely break to the downside. Now looking for the retest for lower highs and some more shorts back into the low. So CAD yen makes the cut as well. And then CHF JPY looks equally as good. Really nice structure, similar to Euro yen. Would be looking at a lower high falling for again another drop and targets back at support down there at 168.5. So yen pair is going to be probably my main focus next week. Maybe if USD sees some weakness, maybe I can start looking at pound USD in a bit more detail as well. But in fairness, pound is still pretty far away from my areas of interest. Okay, maybe not so much this level, but definitely that level there. So pound still looks really good, but need to be patient. So yeah, shorts on CHF, Euro yen, CAD yen, shorts on pound USD. Shorts on pound CHF if we do eventually break out the range. Doesn't look like we'll probably do it this week. Maybe we do it. I don't know. We're still seeing a lot of wick rejections, so it's going to take some energy. I don't think we've got any major news for pound anymore. We did have in the morning, but that hasn't done much. So, but yeah, if pound CGF can break to the downside, I'll be looking at opportunities there. Then longs on pound NZD as we approach this low, and longs on pound Aussie as we approach that area there as well. So that's really what I'm looking at for next week. Maybe there's a couple other pairs which could present themselves. Euro pound if we pull back a little bit. Dollar yen if you pull back a little bit as well. Yeah, that's pretty about it. Nanad, UK 100 ready to short, or should I wait for a pullback to buy? Yeah, I would not be looking to short UK 100. I know it's probably expecting to see a pullback now, because of course we're taking out the all-time highs there. So after we do take out the highs, what happens? The market pushes up, but does eventually pull back. We did it over here as well. Take out the highs. What do? We pull back eventually. So you're right to be expecting downside, but it's very difficult to call where that will happen, especially when we're trading in areas we've never traded before. It's not like you can look to the left and say, okay, I like this level, let me short from it. There is no level. You can only look at maybe psychological levels, but even they only hold so much weight. So yes, after taking out these highs, you would expect to see a bit of a dip soon. But where that comes, I have no idea. It might be pretty quickly. It might be all the way up there before the market does turn around. So you could be shorting a lot, taking L after L until eventually the market does push down, and it might not be worth the hassle. So with this type of price action, I'll be looking at longs. Now that price is breaking above the high there, this is now turning to support. So in terms of intraday opportunities, I'll be looking at buying opportunities to ride that momentum. Right now, there's a lot of momentum there with the UK 100. If you were to correct in the lower time frames, there's a good chance we'll probably push back to wherever the high is currently. So I would be looking at pullbacks and longs. I wouldn't necessarily look to hold into the longs for too long. because I know that eventually the market is due that pullback. You can probably trail stops behind price and just see how far it takes you, really. But I do expect to see a pullback at some point. But as I said, it might happen in the next couple of days. It might still push on for another week before we do push down. So yeah, no sells, just pullbacks for buys. And that is the only thing I will do in this situation. Okay, you could do that as well. Again, if you've got a strategy behind it, I'm not saying you shouldn't take sells. It's just that, if you just looking to sell randomly, then you could be doing that a while as price pushes against you. But if you've got a strategy behind taking those kind of mean reversion trades, and you're going to kind of build a position up, and of course you know what you're doing with that, then of course, be my guest, do what you're doing there. But for me myself personally, after we take our all-time highs, yes, I do expect a retracement, and I would be looking for sales, but more so in FX, because FX, I know when we do have a market that creates all-time highs, there's a very high chance that FX we're going to turn right back around pretty soon. Again, in terms of where we're going to do it, we don't know, but I know it's pretty much a sure banker that FX does turn around. Indices, we could trend, because in general, they do trend. So with FX, it's a bit easier. Indices, we could see a monster move. FX too as well. But I know that sooner or later we're going to turn around. But yeah, if you got a plan for it, of course, execute on that. But guys, we have approached the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I do appreciate every one of you guys for tuning in, chatting with me, dropping a like on the stream, subscribing to the channel. It does really help out the content, and of course, I do appreciate your time here with myself. As always, I will be live again every day next week from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, make sure you pop in, say hi. As of always, I will be posting my analysis on the weekend, recapping this week and forecasting the next. So if you're interested in that, make sure you don't miss it out. It will be out on Saturday. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And I hope to see you all next week. Oh, before I go, make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel. Completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also the description below. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share updates there, what I'm looking at, what I'm looking to trade, discuss ideas, and of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders as well if you're interested. So go check it out if that's something you're looking to look into. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. We'll see you all next week.